Thank you very much for the very warm introduction, Mr. Lee. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the Lions Initiative for Environment and their supporting partners for inviting me today to share on an introduction to circular economy and its perspectives. Today, at both an organizational and personal level, I hope to achieve three objectives with the audience today. You can take a screenshot, and I hope today's virtual webinar can inspire all of you to take a step change in your behavior habits, deepen your understanding on circular economy solutions and why sustainable lifestyles matter, and most importantly, what you can do by acting now. For the first part of my presentation, understanding the importance of circular economy in waste management is how you as individuals or as institutions can migrate from a linear economy of a take, make, use, waste culture to embedding the circular economy principles across all functions, establishing an urban or business system that is regenerative, accessible, and abundant by design. This means moving from the left image to the right image you see on the screen. Let's take an everyday example. Imagine you are at home and your child asks you over the dinner table, "Dad, Mom, what is the difference between these two concepts of circular economy and practicing sustainability initiatives?" So feel free to share your ideas in the chat box while I share mine. The circular economy is not about how to reduce waste. Waste is actually a design flaw and a mistake, so don't create it in the very first place. For example, as a student, you are practicing a circular economy solution of a reuse when you take, for example, your own Tupperwares to the school canteen every day with your own cutleries from home instead of, opting to use like the disposable plates, straws, and cutleries at the canteen. So your action in keeping materials circulating above ground as long as possible is a positive action that you can take. Sustainability, on the other hand, is about generating less harm to the environment with your actions. So for example, instead of throwing away your food waste into your school canteen's rubbish bins, it would be more sustainable to throw it in the compost bin to reduce the food waste going into the landfill. The compost bin then in turn, can convert the food waste into healthy nutrients, like fertilizer, which can be added to the soil to create a vegetable garden in the school compound, for example. So by growing your own fruits and vegetables at school, you are already creating a circular economy solution to tackle your food waste. So a circular economy allows us to achieve two things. Not only sustainability, but how, to generate our ecosystems. So in short, I would summarize the circular economy as this, and you are also allowed to take a screenshot. It is the value of products, materials, and resources which is maintained in the economy for as long as possible, and the generation of waste is minimized. Now, I come to the second part of my presentation by sharing some global perspectives with all of you. The OECD conducted a study on OECD countries on how they are managing their waste. The survey's evidence revealed that cities identified 14 main drivers that are motivating, cities to transition into a circular economy. The main driver is combating climate change. The recent COP26 had both positive and negative outcomes, and I'm sure that you all know the urgency for us to meet and reach those targets. The second was global agenda, and the third was economic change. And this is much more important since the COVID-19 pandemic breakout. The OECD study also revealed evidence that cities identified 15 sectors which cities must focus, and by no surprise, as you can see, nearly 100% of cities identified that the waste sector is the top sector. And this is the key reason why we are having this inaugural webinar with you all today. The second was the built environment, where many of you would refer to as construction, and the third was land use and spatial planning. So the evidence also further revealed that the role of cities can be divided into 3 areas, and that is the being promoters, facilitators, and enablers. Having laid that out for you, I would now like to move to practical examples on how you can move towards sustainable lifestyles to accelerate the circular economy. So maybe we can start with some upstream waste prevention examples. HP is a brand that's familiar with all of you. And in the US, HP's instant ink service offers, printing subscriptions based on the number of pages printed. So the connected printers notify HP when cartridges are about to run dry, and then HP collects and recycles them as well as deliver new ones to the customer. Then we have, for all the car owners out there, the French tire company Michelin leases tires instead of selling them now. They have added sensors to the tires to track them while they are in use, to monitor the wear and tear over time and know the exact moment when they need replacing, and then inform the customers. Our local brand Athena Empowers produces cloth diapers, and this is one really practical example for parents with newborn babies who are online with us. They have produced cloth diapers that are washable, reusable, and a really good alternative to single-use plastic diapers that parents are currently using now. So next up, I would like to propose an idea to the Lions Club in Malaysian chapters to consider if you can start this circular economy multi-generation initiative in your neighborhood by watching this example from our neighboring country.
Repair Kopitiam started in 2014 with the main goal of combating the buy and throw away culture in Singapore so that we can live sustainably and reduce our e-waste. With partners like Genico, who believe in a sustainable future, we are trying to teach people that they can still revive their products by repairing it and extending its life.
So Repair Kopitiam sessions are guided by volunteers such as us. We help the residents fix their own equipment or appliance by coaching them. People bring in everything from fans to toasters to radios for us to fix.
It's totally cannot use.
We have to check first.
Lah.
Instead of throwing away something that has stopped working, we try to get them to think about repairing it. That's how we try to help.
Okay, so generally that's power going in.
On already.
After we fix someone's very old or used appliance, they will give us a smile and they will have so much gratitude towards us for allowing their much used and sentimental appliances to come back to life. And this sense of accomplishment is everything to us volunteers.
We hope to change the mindset of people and instill the idea of doing something about it before throwing it away. By engaging in repair, not only can everyone reduce e-waste, but they can learn valuable lessons and find new value in knowledge they own. By sharing our knowledge with the community, we can empower them to be more confident in repairing items on their own. Genico shares our vision that we can combat the buy and throw away culture and power positive change in the community.
Now I would like to focus on creating circular neighborhoods. What does it mean and how it is a just transition towards a circular economy, and how it puts people and partners in the center of this critical transition. This is an example of an inclusive and participatory approach. There has been a recent discussion paper that was released last month by the UN Environment Programme at the Innovate for Cities conference with all the partners that are featured on the screen. I will share the links at the end of my presentation where you can watch the entire webinar and download the discussion paper. As many of you know, it is challenging to transition an entire city into a circular economy all at once, at the same time, during a very short time. As citizens, you may want to know how your taxpayers' money is put to good use. To give you an idea, 2 contrasting cities were chosen, like Mexico City and Amsterdam, who are leaders in the circular economy space. The question that was asked was, is it possible to do circular construction? In my opinion, the answer is yes. The potential impact is to promote, local and community-led construction and repair. A downstream example, a previous construction dump site was converted into Cuitlahuac Park in Mexico, where 85% of dump site materials were recovered from the construction and demolition waste. It became, a green space thanks to the municipality, where construction waste materials were recycled and reused by the neighborhood to create this beautiful park. What is servitization? One concrete upstream example is washing machines. The potential impact is creating critical mass demand for product as a service. So a great example is the Dutch company called Bundles, who rent washing machines. This is something for low-income neighborhoods to benefit from lower electricity and water bills. So customers can rent the washing machines every time when they click play, for instance. And once they no longer need it, they can return it to the company whom they rent it to, and that company can then rent it to another customer. Because the washing machine is owned by the company is then incentivized to take care of the washing machine as long as possible and design it in a modular way. So what do we mean by modular? So when your kids are playing Lego, that is when you think of the modular methodology. So that means you make parts that are easy to disassemble, and when you do so, that it will be cheaper to repair when the parts get damaged. Next, I would like to share a little bit on neighborhood food systems and how it can change like mindsets, behavior change, encourage circularity in production and consumption behavior patterns. The potential impact here is strengthening environment, education, and reducing food waste. So in Mexico City, they are investing in an exchange network where residents can barter recyclables in exchange for government vouchers, where they can exchange for fresh produce grown by their local farmers in their markets. And in 2019, they documented that this particular exchange network managed to prevent 145.96 tons of waste from ending up in the landfills, and they also recovered about 130,000 kg of raw materials as well. So the Local Organic Producers Association unites more than 20 local and regional organic producers, and this community network itself acts as an educational tool for the children to have a better understanding of where their vegetables come from, how they could participate as well, because a doing by learning for children allows them to understand how their very own actions are contributing positively to the environment. So the next question is, how can city leaders help us cultivate a circular neighborhood in Malaysia. So this was taken by a drone, and can anyone guess what this place was before it was converted? So ladies and gentlemen, this was an industrial site for a shipyard. This 2014 successful example is how city leaders can turn a polluted city plot to a thriving circular economy living lab. So now it is internationally acclaimed circular economy case study, home to 17 workplaces, a very popular, a community cafe. The site was conceptualized as a clean tech playground where there's numerous living examples of like decentralized technology and recycling of local resources. To read more, I will share also another link in the chat box after my presentation. So after sharing those examples, the next question I have for you, and I would like to pose to you as individuals, is this. And it is here that I would like to introduce the anatomy of action. It is a set of handy actions that you can do every day to cultivate a sustainable lifestyle by practicing circular economy steps in your daily life. So I hope I have shared some inspirational examples for the major stakeholders who are online with us today. I also hope that after this webinar, you will act now, by implementing the 5 key actions you see on the screen. And how can Malaysia, actually execute this? So let me share with you what will be happening from now till 2023. As you know, I'm the country coordinator for the EU-funded regional program called the International Urban Regional Cooperation for Asia and Australasia. It comprises of 9 countries in the region working with North America, South America, Europe, and China. In Asia and Australasia, we are working with 86 cities together to impact the lives of over 114 million people. The project is focusing on city-to-city cooperation and clustering by thematic clusters. What do we mean by thematic clusters? For the next 3 years, both EU and Malaysian counterparts will be enabled to implement pilot projects in 3 global thematic areas. The Green Deal, focusing on circular economy, waste management, and nature-based solutions. Urban renewal and social cohesion, such as urban planning, mobility, and transport. And finally, on innovative, sustainable, and carbon-neutral ecosystems in strategic sectors where Malaysian cities have opportunity to explore solutions in tourism and culture, strengthening jobs, education, and skills. So we will be starting with the 3 Malaysian cities that you see on the screen, and We will be partnering them with 2 European countries in Portugal and Italy. And we have a cluster of 3 cities in Portugal and 1 city in Bologna, Italy, working with the Malaysian cities. And what we really hope to achieve is to strengthen the quadruple helix in Malaysia at the city level. And how we can really do this is really, designing and implementing a list of actions that you see on the screen right now. And ultimate goal is really to create shared value in action. As I come towards the end of my presentation, I would like to leave with you this quote. Maybe for some of you in the audience, you are worried of how much you can do, what you can do, or maybe even, your limitations. But I personally would like you to believe, and I think this quote was something quite, that triggered a lot in me by my course mate, Jessie Davidson, at the United Nations System Staff College. She reminded us that if you have the ability to make a sustainable choice, you make an obligation to make that sustainable choice on behalf of the people who can't. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested to learn a lot more about what we are doing on the ground for the IURC Asia Australasia program, I invite you to join us for our next thematic webinar on the 14th of December on Circular City Hubs, Improving, Thriving, Livable, Resilient Urban Centers. I can share all the details with you and the live organizers, and you can register. It is free of charge, and I will leave the link in the chat box. So finally, this is my email. Please feel free to drop me a line if you want to attend the webinar or if you have any follow-up questions. Thank you very much again, for your kind attention. I hope in some humble way I managed to achieve the 3 key objectives that I shared with you earlier. So thank you so much.